What's up everyone, Resol here today. I just wanted to show the new patch that just dropped about 5 minutes ago. So this is the biggest main change. I'm gonna kill mid-boss while I'm talking about this real quick. The biggest change happened to mid, where now when mid-boss drops, instead of being 1 rejuvenator, there's gonna be 3. So we're about to see in a second. There's gonna be 3 little... There's 3 little... Oh, there's 4 now. Okay, so I already did it once. So the first time there's 3, then there's 4. And so then each person can grab their own. So, like, your teammates would each try to grab one. And, like, you can also grab multiple, and it'll give it to one of your teammates, too, which is a good feature as well. So they're kind of... I don't know. This is an interesting change, and so now I'm going to pull up the patch notes for that so you guys can see exactly what happened. So mid-boss HP is now fixed at the spawn time. Base HP increased from 6,000 to 12,000 and growth reduced from 470 to 200. Reworked rejuve reward from mid-boss. No longer buffs troopers. That's a huge nerf. Reduces respawn time and buffs various stats. Upon death of mid-boss. Oh my god, I need water. It's going to be a lot of reading. Upon death, 3 rejuve crystals fall to the ground. 4 for subsequent mid-boss kills. So after the first one, there's going to be 4. Claiming 1 now grants you in place revive after 3 seconds. If you already claimed one and claim another one, it'll go to an ally. Priority is closest ally first and most recent dead allies. Dying with rejuve no longer counts as a kill/death nor gives out bounties. While you have the rejuve buff, you gain the following: 20% max HP, 20% fire rate, 15% spirit damage. Gaining the buff heals you to full and lasts up to 7 minutes. So yeah, that's a big change. It's definitely interesting. I think it's going to make mid-boss way more... It's not going to be as punishing to get stolen, because a lot of the time you don't want to do mid-boss unless you're almost guaranteed to get it, because if the enemies steal it, it's really, really bad. So I think this will it'll give a better objective in the mid-game and early game too, so I like this change a lot. It's going to encourage fighting over resources, which is also good. They also made some changes to meleeing here, which we'll get to in a second, but this is just saying, instead of getting, what's the word? It no longer cancels their mantle. Instead, it will apply an 80% movement slow. Instead of getting stunned, the word I was looking for was stunned. You'll get a movement slow that ramps down 20% over 2 seconds. Adding a debuff that makes you climb ropes 40% slower for 4 seconds after you've taken player damage. This debuff only exists when you're on a rope and tapers off to 0% in the last 1 second of the damage window. I like this change a lot, because oftentimes the best way to get away from someone if they're shooting you is just to go up a zip line, because if they're going up a zip line too, they can't shoot you, and it puts verticality between people, and you can go to jump pads and stuff. So I think this is a good thing that makes you think twice about going up a zip line. I'm curious how much slower that makes you, but I'll need to test that for sure. Slight reduction to the amount of turning you can do while performing a heavy melee. Light melee base damage reduced by 20%, except for these specific characters. Heavy melee cooldown increased from 0.9 to 1. So that's saying, like, in between melees, that's going to be the cooldown. And then this is going to be the cooldown when you miss. The heavy melee is going to go from 0.9 to 1.3, so that's much bigger. You can feel a difference too. I'm going to show you guys in a second. Parried stun is no longer reduced by debuff resistance. This is huge. Parried bonus damage is no longer melee specific. Now affects all damage types. That's also huge, because a lot of times you just parry someone and you kind of just, if you're not punched, it doesn't really matter. So now we're just going to do the punching a little bit. So you can really notice the turning. Like, here, let me buy... we'll start with melee charge. Yeah, this is like, I don't know how crazy it's gonna look on video, but this is a huge melee nerf. And let's try crushing fists. The turning should almost be part of the item of Crushing Fists. So, yeah, this is a huge nerf, and especially the time in between. It's not gonna... They're not going to be able to get chased by people doing this as much anymore. So I think this is a good nerf for melee. It's definitely more skillful, and stuff are going to become better on certain characters, rather than like, because you can kind of just play melee on any character. I don't know if you guys have ever tried that, but you could kind of just buy Crushing Fists on every character, and it was good. So we'll see. Those are pretty significant melee nerfs, though. I'm a fan of that. Melee wasn't working the way they intended to, so now they also completely reworked the way dashes work. So heroes are now going to have different dash speeds, same distance, slower to get there. They're going to be placed into 3 buckets. To start, bucket 1 is going to be 5%, bucket 2 is -5, bucket 3 is -15. So bucket 1 is Ivy, Haze, Holiday, Calico, Grey Talon, Paradox. This is going to be the characters. Can I change my... Oh my god, I can. So we're going to try, let's just try out Ivy, I guess. So this kind of, from my perspective, it feels very similar to normal dashing. But now we'll try someone else from the tier 2. Let's just go 7, I guess. I don't feel a huge difference on this one. But I got a pretty good feeling we'll do Monkuro. I'm going to be honest, I don't feel any difference. It doesn't feel like a difference at all. I don't know. You guys try it. Let me know what you think. I think that's a decent change. It gives characters that have more stamina better stamina usage, which I think is good. Gives more individuality to characters, which I also think is good. So make sure I'm recording. I am. The teleporters behind the walkers got removed. So these teleporters are removed. How can I'm gonna put this here, and then I'm gonna... Oh, I can't do it. I'm a bot. Whatever, you guys get the idea. After 20 minutes, troopers spawn time is gonna be reduced from 30 seconds to 25 seconds. More minions on the map, more money. So that's why they reduced the growth, because the troopers late game would have so much money, and they'd be coming so much that you just get so much money. So remove the bounce pads on top of the nursery / fish market rooftop leading back to mid. So, oh my god, what did I just do? Whoops, my bad. So, I guess... What am I doing? Give me Ivy. Where's Ivy?
I got you.
So, yeah. So, it's this one. And then I'm guessing the one, like, opposite. I'm not going to show that one. You guys have a pretty good idea. If you're still playing this game now, you know what I'm talking about. So the trooper ally split has been updated, just reduced a little bit, except for the 2-person split. Every other split got yeah, every other split got reduced. So I guess don't group as much, I guess. Breakable souls got reduced. Comeback multipliers got reduced. Neutral bounties increased. Strong neutrals plus 15. That's huge, actually. By strong neutrals, it's talking about... we can farm a neutral real quick. Let me max my hero. Whatever, yeah, just give me some items, man. Let's see. So it used to be like around 200-ish, 260. That seems pretty similar. Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers on that stuff, so... Interesting. But it says plus 25%. I trust Yoshi. Medium neutrals respawn rate increased from... Oh, interesting. So they're heavily increasing the respawn rate on these neutrals. Interesting. That's going to encourage more fighting. I don't know. We'll see. Sinner sacrifice, retaliation, damage increased from 40 to 60. More punishing to punch the sinner sacrifices. This is really going to only affect, in my opinion, when you're taking the enemies and, like, you're a little bit low on health. That's gonna... I don't know. That's gonna affect more, like, right when you win lane. I don't think that's a huge change. But, like, right now, if you're anything past 10 minutes in the game, This also is going to give me 4 buffs here too. Yeah, so that's honestly huge. I'm such a PC bot. Okay, yeah, heavy melee now gives 4 buffs. That's what I was going to talk about. To kill now due to the... oh, that's interesting. So they're compensating for the melee buffs to Sinner Sacrifices. Interesting. I like that. Hero bounties are now reduced based on the amount of players, similar to the trooper mechanic. Mean kills are less efficient / rewarding when it's a big group. Oh, interesting. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. That's a good change. Move speed slow when shooting reduced from 30 to 25. I like that change too. I guess that makes Fleetfoot not as... they nerfed Fleetfoot too, which we'll get to in a second. Interesting change. I didn't catch that one on the first time. Sidewalkers HP increased by 10%. Objectives no longer have Spirit Resist. Interesting. The following abilities do 50% to objectives. That's a good change. Last Stand, Storm Cloud, Hyper Beam, Heavy Barrage. These were kind of ultimates you could pop early game and just take walkers early, which was a huge swing. So I'm a fan of that. Trooper walk speed and run speed has been increased from 6.1 to 6.3 and 11 to 13 respectively. Minor respawn curve reductions. 5 seconds, 85 seconds on 40 minutes. Still interesting. Updated the zipline knockdown to make the players go straight down and not start the stun timer until they hit the ground. Interesting. We got to see how that plays out. I need someone to help me test that, but I don't have anyone, so unfortunate. Added new UI indication on HP for showing pending heal effects, like things like Abrams passive. Interesting. So let's say I'm on Abrams. Just get myself some levels. I have this, and then I'm just gonna half my... it's not going to do it. I don't know. Is it talking about this little green right here? Okay, yeah. It's this little green bar. Interesting. Interesting. So things like Mirage, Scarab, Siphon Bullets, Abrams passive. Interesting change. Restorative Shot, heal from... okay, so we're getting into the item nerfs real quick. Restorative Shot heal from NPC reduced from 20 to 15. Restorative Shot damage reduced from 8% to 6%. Good change. Restorative Shot was bought a lot, I guess. I like this change a lot. Fleetfoot bullet resistance reduced from 10% to 6%. Fleetfoot was just such a good item already, and like to get 10% bullet resist early game from it was so good. So definitely needed some tuning back. Melee charge bullet resist reduced. Also a good change, just because getting 10% bullet resist for cheap items that are also good, and like these are items I like to call transformative items that melee charges. Fleetfoot kind of. Melee charge is a better example of like when I buy this item, the way I play my character is just completely transformed. Like especially now, this is almost mandatory. Okay, what else? Spirit Shred buffed. Resistance reduction increased from -7 to -8. Interesting. I don't know if that's a huge change. You probably still buy that on like Eternus and stuff. Slowing bullets after buildup is achieved. Debuff duration is refreshed rather than starting buildup again. This is super good. This is the way Toxic Bullet works. Oh my god, I need water. I'll be right back. Ugh, it's a lot of talking. So yeah, it's going to work how Toxic Bullets works. Swift Striker fire rate has been increased from 18% to 20%. Slight buff on that. Express Shot has been buffed from 165 to 185%. Toxic Bullets has been nerfed from 2.5 to 2.1. That's a pretty good change. It's also now going to scale with Spirit, so very small. So let's just see. We'll buy Toxic Bullets, and then we'll buy Boundless Spirit, and we'll see. 2.49. Ooh, that's not good. So that is definitely a nerf. You got to put a lot of money, or let's max my level. 2.65. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. That's definitely a nerf for sure. Berserker got nerfed from 16% bullet resist to 8%. I like that change. Berserker was another one of these items that gives you so much resist, and it's also like a good item, so like why would you not buy it? Blood Tribute, healing reduction reduced from 50% to 40%, good change. It also now grants +4 out of combat regen. I like that as well. That's going to allow you to be more active on the map with an item that takes health away from you. The move speed from the active item now was increased by 0.25. Weighted shots got a big nerf here. Bullet velocity was reduced from -20 to -30, and then the stamina recovery from -10 to -20. So we can try that out real quick. With also the new nerfs or whatever, I don't know. I might be dooming, but that's pretty bad. That's pretty slow. But like, what if I was to just buy Stamina Mastery? Yeah, that's still pretty slow. Interesting. That's definitely a nerf. That item is going to be not as good. Hunter's Aura now grants +1 Spirit. Is that Troll? Oh, Sprint. Okay, that's a good item then. I like that. Might buy that on McGinnis. Spirit Rend, Spirit Resist Reduction increased from -7% to -8. Okay, just same buff. Crushing Fists got a nerf. The bullet resist was reduced from 20% to 12%. And then the heavy melee distance was reduced from 70% to 60%. Okay, that didn't really feel, I didn't even notice that when I was using it, so interesting. Armor piercing rounds, chance to proc was reduced from 60% to 50%. Interesting. I guess that item was very good. Ooh, Shadow Weave buff. I like this. Duration reduced from 25 seconds to 18 seconds. That's a... so the duration you use it. Interesting. I thought that was going to be the cooldown. And then the cooldown was reduced from 40 seconds to 32 seconds. Now grants +25 melee damage on ambush reveal. Are you trolling? They're making this a melee weapon? That's actually crazy. I'm a fan of that. I'm going to try to buy that tonight. We'll see. Maybe tomorrow. Capacitor damage increased by 5. Spellslinger buff duration increased from 10 seconds to 14 seconds. That's kind of a big buff, honestly. So now we're on vitality items. That's all the gun items. Guardian Ward cooldown reduced by 5 seconds. Weapon shielding. The barrier has been reduced by 75 points or HP, and then it no longer scales with Spirit. That's a good change. These barriers were very, very good. It now scales with boons. Interesting. So okay. Spirit shielding reduced from 400 to 325, same as the weapon, 325. So yeah, all these changes are the same. I'm not going to read them again. Return fire bullet resist reduced from 10% to 60%. Bullet damage returned from 60% to 50. Oh, interesting. Return fire nerf. And then the spirit damage was nerfed by 5% as well. Interesting. Veil Walker buff 14 to 12. So this might not seem like a huge buff, but a lot of the characters that buy this item also buy Transcendent cooldown. And so now it's on 8.4 seconds. Like, that's honestly, if you know where the veils are, I like this item because it rewards you for knowing where the veils are. I think that's a good change. That definitely gives Veil Walker more, what's the word? Active ability. I like that. Metal Skin cooldown has been reduced by 4 seconds. Debuff reducer, health reduced by 25. Cooldown increased by 5 seconds. Out of combat regen increased from 2.2 to 3.5 on Trophy Collector. Oh, interesting. Spirit resilience buff or nerf. It's been reduced by 5%. That's like nothing. Divine Barrier cooldown reduced from 45 to 40 seconds. Cheat Death effect no longer gets pierced by kill effects like Killing Blow or Guided Owl. Nice, I like that. Alright, we're on the spirit items, then we have heroes next. Rusted Barrel now reduces bullet resist by 5%, and the cooldown has been reduced by 5 seconds. That's a really good buff. Suppressor, which you make from... Oh, wait, never mind. I'm talking about Disarming Hex. Disarming Hex got a buff, too. Yeah, it's in there. Suppressor, the fire rate reduction reduced from 35 to 30. Cold Front, Spirit Resist. So they really targeted all these items that gave you a flat 10% that were also good items to 6%. I still think they're going to be bought just because Cold Front is so good. Increased slowing hex duration. That's a good change. Bullet Resist Shredder. Bullet Resist reduction increased from -12 to -13. That's a good change. Spirit Sap. Power reduction increased from -15 to -18. Interesting. Cast range increased. Bonus health increased. Just a big Spirit Sap buff. I think you can... Does it have... Oh, Spirit Sap is Silence Wave. Okay, it's a good change. Buff to Silence Wave. So Disarming Hex, which is what you build from Rusted Barrel, has been reduced from 25 to 20. Surge of Power has been... The cooldown in between Surge of Powers has been increased a little bit, but the duration has been increased, so the ability lasts longer. And the fire rate has been increased, and the Spirit Power has been increased. So that's overall a buff for Surge of Power. Tank Buster now ignores enemy spirit resistance. That's huge. That's huge, because so many people buy spirit resistance. That's a good change. I like that. And then the damage was reduced from 6% to 5% to compensate for the buff. That's good. Decay buff, 2.4 to 2.6. That might not seem like a lot, but that might be a lot. The item's already kind of good. Scourge projectile. Decay is really good. Just a little note. If you buy superior duration, it... where is it? Where's the time? Yeah, the duration goes up by almost 3 seconds, so that's a lot of damage. Scourge, projectile speed, nothing. Focus lens, cooldown reduced. Vortex web, projectile speed increased. We can try that real quick. Huh. Bebop no longer has base 10% bullet resist. Now has plus 3% bullet resist per boon. I like that. Exploding uppercut tier 2 reduced from plus 50% weapon damage to plus 40. Okay, nerfing Bebop. Interesting. Uppercut tier 2 duration reduced from 12 seconds to 9 seconds. Grapple arm reduced from plus 25 weapon damage to plus 20. Grapple arm tier 1 duration reduced from 10 seconds to 6 seconds. Interesting. Yeah, I guess we're just nerfing Bebop. I guess that character's broken. Dynamo, Kinetic Pulse. Just take the character out. Hot take, in my opinion. Kinetic Pulse. Damage height increased from 0.5 to 0.7. Grey Talon, Spirit Snare. Curse duration increased from 1.75 to 2 seconds. Guided Owl cooldown. Interesting. That's kind of big, I feel like. Kelvin Arctic Beam no longer bounces off objectives. Nice. Geist Bomb no longer sticks to units. And the cooldown has been increased from 10.5 to 4.5. The radius has been increased. So they just gave her the flat radius. So yeah, -4 cooldown. Yeah, they just gave her the base, and then they made the first point -4 cooldown. That's so nothing of a change. Like, what? Projectile speed increased. And then huge McGinnis nerfs here. This is actually devastating. This character sucks. Health per boon's been reduced from 56 to 52. Spectral Wall fixed a bug. I'm not even going to read the bug fixes. And then the turret health per boon has been reduced from 12 to 10. So basically, they just nerfed McGinnis health gain and her turret health gain. It's big on the health gain. Turret health gain, I mean. Sorry. Mirage 10% base bullet damage reduction. And then also Paradox has bullet damage scaling increased by 10%. So good Paradox buff here. This will make Paradox good. I might play some Paradox today. Pocket Affliction initial current HP percent damage increased from 10% to 12%. Okay, buff to that. Shiv Rage now only builds from damaging players. Interesting. I feel like this is a good direction to take this character. Yeah, you just can't hit neutrals. That's why Shiv was honestly so good. Is you could just build Rage off neutrals and then farm more neutrals. Interesting. But he builds Rage 20% faster. Okay, compensation. Decay, Rage Decay has been increased from 9 seconds to 12 seconds. So you get to 3 more seconds before your Rage decays. I like this. I think this is more creating an active character than a character that just farms neutrals and gets super far ahead. Bloodletting duration has been reduced from 12 to 6. What? What does that mean? Bloodletting duration reduced from, so I guess instead of taking 12 seconds to bloodlet, you take 6. That's a huge nerf, honestly. The cooldown has been reduced by 15 seconds. They're making bloodlet clear more damage by 10%. Tier 1 and Tier 2 swapped. Bloodletting Tier 3 increased from 20% to 35%. Interesting. So they're making bloodletting... Okay, that's a big nerf to bloodletting, but they're making it clear more. Okay, yeah, I like that. That's okay. That's probably going to make some people mad, though. It's not going to make them as sustainy, but... 7's base move speed reduced. Move speed spirit scaling reduced. Power surge tier 1 and tier 2 reduced. That's good. It should have been tier 3 though. Stormcloud cooldown increased. Spirit power scaling reduced on Stormcloud. Stormcloud DPS reduced from 95 to 90. Tier 3 reduced from 60. So they just really nerfed spirit, or they nerfed the ultimate damage. I like that change. 7 ultimate sucks. Crow tier 1 bounce no longer. That's bad English, right? Crow tier 1 bounce no longer. Bounces off of objectives. Crow tier 1 bounce no longer. I feel like that's bad. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Stake tier 3 reduced from +2 to +1. That's huge. Puddle punch cooldown reduced from 30 to 24. Viscous tier 3 punch increased from -11.5. Okay, so they're reducing cooldown by like 6.5 seconds on punch. It could be huge. Who knows? Warden, but they also nerfed a bunch of punch stuff, so like, eh. Warden bullet-based damage reduced from 17 to 15. Bullet damage growth increased from 0.38 to 0.44. DPS Warden DPS reduced from 74 to 70. I think that's just because of these changes, but last stand lifesteal versus non-heroes reduced from 15 to 10. That's just nothing change, I guess. Wraith bullet damage increased from 4.95 to 5.115. Bullet damage growth has been reduced. Same overall peak damage. Okay. Yamato alt fire damage reduced from, oh, that's a big change, but now it grows per boon. Interesting. These are some good changes. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching. It's been a long one. I'll see you in the next one.